Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Castlevania Requiem, a PlayStation exclusive of a duology of fairly different Castlevania games. Is this Requiem worth playing? Let's find out. Castlevania Requiem is a collection of the PSP ports of both Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. I'll provide mini reviews for each now. Rondo of Blood was originally released on the TurboGrafx/PC Engine CD add-on, and is one of the last linear platformer Castlevania games. You play as Richter in his quest to continue moving to the right and sometimes to the left, whipping everything that stands in his way. The game has 9 stages, but what makes it interesting is there's 4 alternate routes, as well as multiple characters to save to get a perfect run. And you can also unlock the child Maria as an alternate playable character. The game also saves your progress after each stage and has a built-in stage select, which makes things a little easier, which is good because this game is hard as hell. This and Castlevania 3 are probably the toughest games in the series, and with this collection not having save states or rewind, you'll need to get good in order to whip Dracula down. Symphony of the Night is much more well known, originally releasing on the PlayStation 1 and considered the first Metroidvania game, or at least the first to earn that title. This time you play as Alucard, Dracula's son, in a sequel to Rondo where Richter has taken over the castle and gone loony. Unlike Rondo, Symphony has Metroid elements like map exploration, backtracking, and getting relics to access new areas. You'll also level up and find tons of new gear. Both games have excellent pixel art and incredible soundtracks and control very well in this collection. Aside from that, it's fairly bare bones in terms of content. It's just these 2 games, no features like save states, rewind, or extras like manuals or whatever. And that's basically the gist of it. I'll go into more details around the ports and the pros and cons, but suffice to say these are 2 fantastic Castlevania games, Symphony in particular being a masterpiece, released as a port of a port to modern systems. So what do I like about this Castlevania Requiem collection? Well, both these games are still fantastic representations of 2 divergent paths for the series. Rondo is one of the best linear Castlevania games, and Symphony of Night was the game that took the series in the direction of Metroidvania, and they pretty much nailed the concept first time round. Additionally, I gotta give a point to these games' soundtracks. Rondo's remixes of classic Castlevania tunes remains my favorite in the series, and Symphony's soundtrack is just that, an actual symphony of incredible songs. It's arguably one of the best game soundtracks ever. And lastly, if you enjoy Metroidvanias nowadays, you owe it to yourself to play their granddaddy Symphony. While it's very janky and its balance is all over the place, it's still a ton of engaging fun, and it's a great trip down memory lane to see all these concepts that eventually evolve into modern Metroidvanias. When it comes to the bad, there are basically no quality of life improvements here, which is kind of pathetic compared to other re-releases. No save states, challenge runs, rewind, nothing of the sort. These are straight PSP ports and that's it. Additionally, the emulation on Symphony of the Night is really wonky, as it was on the PSP, and they haven't fixed it. Sound effects are off, the map sometimes doesn't fill in correctly, and more. Nothing game-breaking, but certainly makes the whole thing feel half-assed. And lastly, for the cost, I'd expect more content here. At the very least, since they're using the PSP versions, they should have included the 3D PSP remake of Rondo that originally came in that collection. They probably should have also tossed in Dracula X, the SNES port of Rondo, though eventually it ends up in the advanced collection for whatever reason. Point being, $20 for 2 games seems a bit excessive. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And I think this collection is a maybe consider. Now, don't get me wrong, both these games are incredible and you absolutely should play them if you haven't, but this collection barely passes in terms of what's acceptable for a re-release. The lack of any quality of life improvements, some wonky emulation, and lack of content that the PSP version had is pretty embarrassing. That being said, the collection goes on sale for $5 fairly often, and at that price, I would highly recommend it despite its flaws. And if you happen to have an Xbox, not a PlayStation, fear not. Symphony of the Night re-released on the Xbox 360 a while back, and is back compat. Point being, regardless of system, you should be playing Symphony. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played either of these games, are you excited to replay them? Let me know what you think in the comments, and then go out there and grab this collection when it's on sale.